It's really important to know what you're wanting to do, to think about the purpose of why you're doing it and the people that are involved. Because once you start going down this path and you start, being submissive to the Lord, it's going to shock you what he shows you. And it may surprise you what he does, but it's going to be good no matter what it is.
You ready to talk about it more?
That's exactly what I want to do.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Called to Love podcast, a show dedicated to exploring how human relationships and intimacy with God are connected. Join us as we discuss hard-hitting topics that inspire and motivate you to go deeper into the intricacies of building meaningful relationships. Here now are your hosts, James Levisee and Brian Knoedl.
Brian, I think sometimes the task that the Lord gives us can be overwhelming.
That's the truth.
I mean, at the surface level, I can remember getting some, vision from him and some words in my spirit about, hey, I want you to go do this. And I remember I got really excited about it. I remember it was like, oh my gosh, this is great. And I started having these grandiose ideas in my mind of what that looked like. And I can think back and remember that, oh man, I'm getting promoted. I'm getting elevated. The Lord is calling me to go down this path. And I started thinking of, man, guys, get ready. I remember having conversations with my kids. They were young teenagers and saying, hey, guys, God's getting ready to use this family. Get ready. It's going to be awesome. He's using all of us. We're going to fall in line with it. It's about to go smooth. But I was, I was the only one on fire.
Is that right?
No one's hair caught on fire or anything. Now they were all very supportive, and they all benefited greatly, and there was some enthusiasm. Don't get me wrong, but then it got hard. Life started pressing in, and I started seeing that there were some things in my heart that were going to have to go, and some things that I was going to have to change, and that the Lord was showing me, and I was not quite ready, but he was gracious, and so things were just kind of rolling out. But all I could really wrap my mind around was there was going to be a lot of people's hearts changed, and he was going to use me to be a part of it, not to be a mastermind, not to go out and burn the roads up, and I was going to be one of many, put it that way. But I was going to be used, so I felt excited about that. But then when it started getting down to the mechanics on how this was going to work, man, I met you not too long after that. We had a lot of harebrained ideas. We were going to at one point I thought we were going to raise an army. We were going to have a systematic approach to turning out Christian soldiers. No one's ever figured it out till we came along, and we were going to do it. And then the more we got into the mud where everybody was, the more it was harder to move and to get people on board and to love. Y'all just want to love people. See, sometimes that don't get you anywhere. Sometimes love is something, you can love people, but you don't have to be all like cotton candy love. And, oh, man, there were so many differences of opinion about what love looked like. So just that. So one of the things that we've been talking about and learning about is how you multiply in an organization. How do you multiply people around you? How do you grow people around you? There's a lot of different moving parts when you're dealing with people, and there's some principles in there that are, they're roads less traveled, and a lot of people that we see are not really in agreement with the way we're doing things.
You brought up, that's a super, super, super great a door opening there for me to say this. Yes, when we started, just because we got a revelation, just because you and I went through healing and got really positioned ourselves to really hear from the Lord, it was not only a chore and a job responsibility for us to stay connected and plugged in and sensitive both to one another and the Lord. The reality of our surroundings, those that we were on a journey with, whether it was family or whether it was people that we worked with, or whatever the situation was, or our influences or connections with different people in the church. The people that we were meeting with one-on-one, what we were finding was, I don't think we talked about it a lot because we just wanted to say, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep being consistent. I'm going to keep doing this. What you and I found out real quick is there's a thing called will. And there is your mind, your will, and your emotions. And your mind, you have thoughts about what you hear, and then you have your will, which has desires on what you're going to willfully desire to do, and then your feelings, the emotions of the surroundings that make it easier or harder to do that. So what you and I were finding was we didn't have it figured out. We were seeing a tremendous amount of people that were responding to what we were going through and what we were experiencing, and it great momentum. But what we found out was you and I both went through our own personal challenges and struggles too, and we just buried ourselves in even more and said, I refuse to lose focus. I'm going to still move forward. What we found, though, that was very interesting, and I saw this, not everyone, what we have to share about relationships and loving people, it's not popular. For some people, it's painful. For some people, they don't want to hear it again. They don't want to be around it.
Yeah.
And until they are able to be free, until they're able to be honest and transparent and say, this is where I'm hurt. I'm still hurt. I'm still wounded. I still have unforgiveness. I'm still not over what has happened in my life in the last 10 or 15 years. I'm not over what happened to me at the last church I attended. I'm not over what happened to me at my last job. I'm not over what happened at the last family reunion or the last Christmas get-together or Thanksgiving get-together. Those are real hurts, and those are real, and that has sabotaged, unfortunately, people would say, my relationship with the Lord. I love the Lord. I just don't know how I'm going to get through this. I don't know how I'm going to forgive them. And so what we were finding is we were hitting roadblocks with some really great people that really loved the Lord, but they were just at a dead standstill on how to wrap their mind around, I can't honestly love anybody when I've got all this going on. I love y'all. I believe in what you're saying. I believe what John 13:34 and 35 says. I know what Jesus is saying, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not ready. And what you and I are finding is there's a lot of people that are not sure they want to let go of something. But if we both know, because when we first met, we had our problems. We were experts at communicating them. We were experts at who done us wrong in the church and how it, in politics and power and position had affected us. But the Lord gave us a burden for the church. He gave us a burden for people. And and we see people the way we look at them as parents. Yeah. And so, that's that.
Well, there's a principle at play when you're dealing with people, excuse me. And one of the things that we see is that people that get ministry minded, they want to build their ministry. And what does that mean? Well, if you really broke it down, the more people that are a part of that ministry, the better they feel. good or bad.
Sure.
So if that's the name of the game, we see people out there, and it's business too. It's everything, and people want to grow.
It's how we grade scale. I mean, it's how we evaluate,
Exactly.
Success or not is by numbers.
So we have found, though, the way to multiply and to grow organizations and get bigger is you got to go smaller.
Yes. And that is a concept that's not popular.
And when you start going to like top leaders in organizations, for example, nonprofits, churches are a great example of this. The idea of breaking it down and going smaller is ludicrous. That's never going to work. And so what you have is you have an organization full of people that don't know how to go small relationally. They know how to go big relationally, which is very shallow. And so when we start thinking about the people that's in our sphere of influence, I've done this a couple of times recently, once in a workshop that you and I do workshops every other month. Just the people that was in my workshop, I usually have like 8 to 10 people in there. I went around the room and I said, how many people do you have in your sphere of influence? I don't want to know like deep, like the people you meet with that they meet with it, but just your direct people. How many are you meeting with? And I went around the room, and one had 5, one had 8, one had 10, one had 7, one had. We went around the room, and there was almost 100 people represented in that room from just those
Sure
10 people.
Sure
It was. And I said, see, guys, we have a small church of people that we're influencing. The funny thing is all these people, they all go to different churches. They're scattered out everywhere. But if you really start putting the multiplication aspect to it, now out of those 100 people, are any of those people meeting with other people? And they were saying yes. So they were duplicating down. Well, we've got people that are having a hard time getting more than 50 or 60 people in their church, 20 people in their church. And we know some that's got hundreds. But what I'm saying to you, they're resisting the idea that you can multiply small. If you start spending time with people, they start getting a revelation that they're important to at least one person. And when they see that one person take interest in them, and you start sharing your relationship that you have with the Lord, they want to be friends with your friend. So you introduce them to your friend. Hey, I know you think God is this way and everything like that, but let me introduce you to him in the way that I know him, and how amazing and lovely he is, and gracious and merciful and kind and caring and thoughtful and patient and forgiving. and they'll say, well, you act like you know him, like you talk about this God like you really, like you talk to him, and the things you say sound like stuff I've never heard before. Can I get like that? I would like to hear from him. I'd like to know what he's saying about me. And so then we introduce the ideas and the concepts of, well, spending time, listening, praying, focusing on others, not just yourself. And then they see how we handle situations. And then they start to say, there's something about it. And then the amazing thing is just over this weekend, one of the guys there, his wife says, I don't care where you go with those men. I just want you to keep doing it. Don't stop. Because whatever they're doing to you is changing my life. It's helping me in our marriage because you're not the man you used to be.
Wow.
So I don't care where you go with them people.
That was good.
Yeah. And we know his wife, but not good, not close.
Sure.
All she knows is that he needs to be with us. He needs to be hanging with us. And so that's what we're talking about. Now, when you start having that, when I do see his wife, she loves me. I don't have a deep, close relationship with her, but when she sees me, she loves me. She's like, I know you're a good guy. I know how you're helping my marriage. And I like
That's
it.
good.
I like you. You're good people.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we're talking about. So how profound is that? That's hard to do on a big spread out group of people. Like when I talk to a group of people, it doesn't hit their heart because they're like, well, they're talking to everybody in here. I know they're saying that I'm important, but they're saying that to everybody. But when I look at you in your eye and I say, listen, you've changed my life. The things you've said to me has impacted my heart to a large degree, and I want to show you some of the things that's changed in my life. Man, that's hard hitting.
It is.
Now I feel important.
It's personal. It's direct.
It's personal. So we need that personal. If you're listening to this, I'm right. Whoever's listening to this, you need it too. You need to have a friend that you can talk to, that you trust, that you can share your heart with, that you can be personal with. And you need to know sometimes someone's going to be honest with you. When everybody else is throwing eggs at you, this one person is going to shoot you straight. And it's critical. It's growing big, small.
Well, I'm so glad you took the time to go in depth on how it can truly affect and the importance of one-on-one and what you and I were talking about, and what looks like we're going to do another episode to extend this on just how these relationships are affecting and are causing such a deficit both in the church. We'll talk more about that, but what I like what you said was this: until someone actually knows what it's like to have someone across the table. It can be at your home. It can be at your kitchen table. It can be at a dining table, at a breakfast or a cafe. To have someone say, I want you to know you were worth getting up for this morning. I really want to get to know you better. I really want to be someone that will encourage you, inspire you, and challenge you in your walk with Jesus. That goes somewhere, and then be able to flesh that out each and every day or week or whatever. You may not see it on the front end, but over a period of time, you will begin to find how that is truly affecting you for the positive. You and I have said this once you try it, once you start to do that, you might find, because James 5:16 says, confess, vent, yell one to another, pray one for another that you may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. Just try it. Find out how healing and wholeness can come just by meeting one to another. Until next time.
We hope this episode of the Called to Love podcast has enriched your life and offered valuable principles to apply on your personal journey. Please explore our website at www.calledto.love for more information and to share your feedback with us. Until our next episode, may you find peace and love. And always remember, you are called to love.